Hi everyone! So, I'm here to share my reflections about the lessons I learned from chapter 1 to 6 in Science, Technology, and Society. So, while learning these chapters, I realized that science and technology really changed the world we live in today. From the old inventions before up to the modern technology we use now. Everything is connected to human progress and development. Each topic made me realize how powerful science is, not just in improving our lives, but also in shaping our values, our decisions, and even our future. So, in Chapter 1, Historical Antecedents in the Course of Science and Technology, I realized how creative and resourceful ancient people were. They invented things not for luxury but for survival and progress. The Sumerians developed cuneiform writing, while the Egyptians made papyrus and built great pyramids that still amaze us today. The Greek and Romans contributed a lot too, like the alarm clock, newspapers, and strong architecture that shaped modern society. The Chinese civilization impressed me with their inventions like gunpowder, salt, and the Great Wall of China. So, makaingon ko nga, even without modern tools, they were already advanced in their thinking. Each inventions they made became a stepping stone for the technologies we have now. So, it shows that human curiosity and determination can really change the world. This chapter reminds me that the science and technology are not just inventions, but stories of human perseverance. As students, I feel inspired to use what I learned to help improve the future, just like how they did in the past. So, let's move on to the chapter 2. Chapter 2, The Intellectual Revolution. This chapter was really amazing because it showed how people started to think deeper and question the world around them. The Copernican revolution made me realize that sometimes, even if everyone believes in something, it doesn't mean it's always right. Just like when people thought the earth was the center of the universe. Then Darwin's theory of evolution also opened my mind that we humans came from a long process of change. The Freudian Revolution was also interesting because it taught me that our mind is very powerful and sometimes we don't even understand why we act or feel a certain way. I realized that science and philosophy reality help people understand themselves and the world better. Though controversial and ang uban sa ilang discoveries, they still continued because they believe in their ideas. It inspires me nga if I have something I believe in, I shouldn't be afraid to share it, even if others disagree. These revolutions remind me that knowledge is always growing and we must keep learning. In the end, the intellectual revolution showed how human curiosity can truly change the world. So, in chapter 3, The Science and Technology and Nation Buildings, I realized that even before the Spaniards came, our ancestors were already intelligent and creative. During the pre-colonial period, they had their own ways of farming, building houses, weaving, and even writing using baybayin. There's no modern machines at that time, but they used nature and their own knowledge to survive and improve their lives. When the colonial period came, especially under the Spanish and American times, there are many changes like schools, new technologies, and better infrastructure. But sometimes, it also made Filipinos dependent on foreigners. In the post-colonial period, nakita na ko nga Ang science and technology continued to grow with the help of Filipino leaders who supported innovations and education. For me, this chapter showed that science and technology are not just about inventions. It's about how we use knowledge to help our country progress. Nakita na ko nga kung magtinabangay ang government, scientists, o ordinary people, we can truly build our nation. It made me proud nga even from the past, Filipinos have always been resourceful and smart. In Chapter 4, The Human Flourishing in Science and Technology. In this chapter, I realized that true human flourishing is not only about material success or technological advancement, but also about living a meaningful life. Nowadays, dagan kaayo ta og access sa technology, like smartphones, internet, AI, but sometimes we forget to ask if these things really makes us happy. Aristotle said that eudaimonia or human flourishing comes from living according to virtue. And I think that still applies today. Technology should help us grow as better person, not just make our life easier. Sometimes we become too dependent on machines and we lose our human touch. That's why nga si Heidegger nagsulti nga technology can enframe us if we're not careful. But if we use it wisely, it can reveal our creativity and purpose, just like art as a way of enframing. For me, flourishing means balancing our modern lifestyle with our values and faith. Dili man sayon, but we can start by being mindful of how we use technology every day. This chapter reminded me that progress is good, but humanity should always come first. So let's move on to the chapter 5. The human flourishing as reflected in progress and development. This chapter made me realize that progress and development are not always the same thing. Sometimes we think that if we have a lot of money or high-tech ng atong country, automatic na nga nag-flourish ta. But dili na mao. True progress should be about improving the quality of life and finding happiness, not just chasing endless growth. I agree with Jason Hickel and Peter Edward that maybe rich countries need to de-develop a bit because sobra ang consumption and it harms both people and the planet. We don't need too much to live long and happy lives. Simple living and contentment can already lead to eudaimonia. As Aristotle said, it made me think that daghan kaayo sa ato karon nga nag-focus sa material success, but wala kayo peace of mind or purpose. Sometimes, slowing down and appreciating life's small things is a form of real progress. Human flourishing for me is not about competition, but connection with others, with nature, and with ourselves. This chapter opened my eyes that ang true development dili isukdon sa GDP pero sa kalipay o kabuutan sa mga people. So let's proceed to the last chapter, which is the chapter 6, The Good Life, Nico Machine Ethics and Modern Concept. The word good life is not just about being happy or having everything we want, but about living with purpose and balance. According to Aristotle, the real goal of life is eudaimonia or human flourishing, and I agree with that. Because dili man gid ta malipay kung puro lang pleasure atong gipangita. Sometimes we think that money or fame can make us happy, but temporary ra na. The good life for me is when we live with virtues like courage, temperance, and wisdom. Kanang kabalo ta mo control sa atong self and do what is right bisag lisod. Science and technology can help us live comfortably. Pero dapat naagi hapon tay limit kay sobra pod nga convenience usahay makadaot sa atong relationship and health. Aristotle's idea about the golden mean reminds me to keep balance in everything. Dili sobra, dili pod kulang. Kay bisan pa man unsa ka modern ang kalibutan karon, ang pinaka-importante gyapon is how we live meaningfully and kindly. The good life is not about living perfectly, but living wisely and mindfully, both for ourselves and for others. So in overall, I realized that science and technology are not just about inventions or discoveries, but also about understanding ourselves as human. From the history of science to the idea of human flourishing, every topic showed how knowledge can shape our lives and our society. It made me see nga dili lang day enough nga ma-advance ang technology, we also need values, ethics, and responsibility in using it. Throughout the lessons, I learned the progress should always go hand in hand with moral virtue and wisdom. Kay if puro lang ta modern living pero walay self-control, we might lose the true meaning of happiness. I like how Aristotle's idea of eudaimonia connects everything to live the good life. We must grow not just materially, but emotionally and spiritually as well. So science and technology are tools to make life better. But kita gihapon ang magbuot kung unsaon nato pag-use ana responsibly. So in the end, I learned true human flourishing happens when we live with balance, kindness, and purpose. Mao na gyud na ang tinuod nga good life. So that's all for my reflection. Thank you.